There was a time not long ago when it was safe to chastise your government. The opposition leader shared the respect of the Prime Minister and President. Now we have a tyrannical democracy where misplaced priority creates abject poverty. To oppose government policy is living dangerously. So now truth is a sin, and lies and deception are the virtues now trending. If I say the government in my land don't care for the local man, I'm a wanted man. Simple truth. If I say my green Dominica has been bequeathed to Red China, I'm a wanted man. Simple truth. If I say Parliament has become a comedy competition, I'm a wanted man. Wanted for speaking truth, wanted for caring about the youth, wanted for wanting fairness in my land. So I'd much rather be a wanted man than to be a yes man to a godless, corrupt politician. They've hired bounty hunters and character assassins on the radio. Never before have we ever seen a little money make Jumbie dance so. Men of faith selling away their blessings. Parents trading the future of their children. Fortune spent to persecute the innocent. Elimination of opposition and foreign investment. That's politics in these times. If I say law enforcement is blind to the real criminals in these times, I'm a wanted man. Simple truth. If I say the businessmen of this land are afraid of one man, I'm a wanted man. Simple truth, simple truth. If I say that one man fools most of the people all the time, I'm a wanted man. Wanted for speaking truth, wanted for caring about the youth, wanted for wanting fairness in my land. So I'd much rather be a wanted man and keep my soul free from the soul snatcher's hands. Hiya, hey, hiya, hey, hiya, hey, They say one man is an easy target, but I'm just one of my brothers who they don't know. Seeds of righteousness, when they're buried, they don't die, they just grow and grow. They taught us when we see wrong, we should take a stand. Evil thrives only when good people are silent. A man who hates opposition is a danger to all men. But the preachers and teachers of yesterday are looking the other way. If I say some pastors and priests in this land are hypocrites, I'm a wanted man. Simple truth. If I say 2 decades we've been lost and things are getting worse, I'm a wanted man. Simple truth. If I say today's school children are growing in violence, I'm a wanted man. Wanted for speaking truth, wanted for caring about the youth, wanted for wanting fairness in my land. So I'd much rather be a wanted man than take refuge in false security of a politician.
Turkey boy, you spent so long in America. What's your opinion about life in Grenada? How have we advanced? Tell me what progress you see. What's your opinion? Express it openly. Well, my friend, I can't deny there is progress to be seen. Let me explain clearly so you can understand what I mean. There are ways in which your nation has gone forward rapidly, yet I see mixed and uncertain destiny. We have come a long way, people, let me tell you, we have come a long way, oh Lord. We have come a long way, truly I can tell you, we have come a long way, oh Lord. We have come a long way, we have an international.
And good night to you, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, the rest of the Eastern Caribbean, wherever you are locally, regionally, and internationally.
Local radio station.
Once again, it is time for Talking Points. My name is Sheldon Scott. I'll be here with you up until the 10 o'clock hour.
Industries. We have come a long way.
It's the Friday Night Forum. This week, we're just doing a weekend review. It has been an interesting and busy week.
Government's incompetencies among the people's cries. It is time to face the music, my friend, and realize.
The main thing this week has been the May Day celebrations.
Long way. We have come a long way. Yet we have a long way to.
And indeed, the start of the gun amnesty. And yes, you did have one murder taking place this week.
Are you disappointed, my friend, at my reaction? We might disagree, but respect my opinion. Because that is one.
Let me see who is under the live, and let me just grab quickly. Listra, Abraham, Agnes Henry, Faithlin, Holly, Douglas, Kathleen Knight, Cynthia Bartholomew, Debbie Seals, Francis, George, Ann Andrews, Kathleen Ledlow, Sandra Joseph. Yes, my good friend out there in beautiful St. Lucia. I need to take a a week or two up in St. Lucia. Yeah, I need to take a vacation. Anthony Mona, Edmund Calise, Sherma Jeremiah, Maria Noel, Errol Bonaparte, Good Life, Baby Daddy, and Gavin Thomas, Osbert James, Shirley and James, Anne-Marie Celestine Grant, Janice Mitchell, Sherma Alexander, Velma Pascal, Patsy Frank, Earl Benjamin, Carib Spice, Wilfred Antoine, Teresa Joseph, Matthew Bowen, Jack Kitman, good night to you, bro. Shrajan John, Ron Julian, good night. Sky, Faithful and Holly Douglas, Brother Watts, good night to the Watts family. Rodney Barry, Liza Bernard, Faithful and Holly Douglas, Marilyn Ferguson, Abraham Pope, Hermina Batiste, Carl Jones, Yolan Pariag, Public Notice, Kim Creedland, Chunky McIntyre, live from Quebec. Good night to you. Christine Otley, and I see Oswald Belfon, Sherms Houston, Cindy Thomas, Miriam Samuel Fitzroy. Good night to you. Chris London, yeah, let me grab here. Jocelyn Matheson and just Jocelyn. I'll see Peter. Good night to all of you on the live, yeah?
My friend, if you feel that I have been away too long, and I have no...
And good night to all of you under the Facebook. I'm seeing Rhonda, Jill, Charmaine, hey, Wind Mathurin. It's been a long time, sisterin. How you doing? Charmaine Ragbasing, I see you there. Marilyn Ferguson, Yvonne Courtney, Nicole Ewing, I see you. And let me see, Glenda and Phyllis Ramsey. Good night. Dr. Julie Dubois, good night to you. And let me see. I think I see Phyllis. Yeah, Phyllis, I call you out. Dixie Ann, Soldier Girl. Had to get military boots just for you. Cicely Celestine, Pamela Hackett, Maudlin Bartholomew, and Carla Walcott. Good night to you. Shauna Simpson, Landon Jane, Veronica Bailey, Denot, how you doing, bro? Denot Andrew, Ingrid Bourne, Mavis, good night to you. All right, yeah, good night to each and every one of you.
We have come a long way.
So I said it's been an interesting week this week.
For the region.
Haven't got any updates in relation to yesterday. Well, it's kind of yesterday and day before shooting, because the shootings took place over a couple of hours from on Wednesday into Thursday morning, yeah?
Yet when I open the paper and see Grand Lake up for sale,
So you had the first shooting, then you had the second shooting, that sort of thing.
on that scale, that don't seem to me like progress, so I will say leave.
But let me let you all know, even though we have these things happening, Grenada still remains the most beautiful. We still believe our country is the most peaceful. We do not want to lose what we have. And that is why we speak about what is happening. Some people have the opinion that when these things happen, we're supposed to stay quiet on it and we're not supposed to say anything. That we should just stay silent. Don't say that it's had a shooting in Grenada and one man is dead, two have been injured in two separate but related incidents. Yeah, that we mustn't speak about those sort of things. But we must speak about them. We must say what is happening, because we must find solutions to these issues. And everybody, and a lot of folks, I tend not to respond to people sometimes when they throw their barbs on social media. And you know why? Especially when they're speaking about youth violence and these sort of things. A lot of us talk. We talk, but we don't actually go out there and get into the community or interact with these people who are giving the trouble to try and reach to ways of solving and ways of fixing these things. So a lot of people talk, but you actually have to go out there and become part of the process itself. Yeah? I always find that that is necessary. Yeah.
And every day people expressing different interpretations.
Folks, the phone lines are open. 440-7377. I'll let you all talk. 440-7377. 347-329-3101. The WhatsApp is working properly. The straight line is working properly. The overseas line is working properly. I make sure everything is working properly tonight.
Say, even if it's hard, we still.
And you're hearing us very clearly, so you know that that is working properly now. The new system is working properly. We just have one part that we need to put in again. It takes time. You do things, you test, you make sure what you've put in is working properly. And there's another piece of equipment we have here we're going to put in. So it may affect the video slightly. It might improve it. It might change a little aspect of it. So we'll be testing that over the weekend. So bit by bit, we are getting there.
Each one wants to blame.
Spice Ram and all the listeners via 94.9 out there in Brooklyn. A good night to you all. Let me say a special good night to the Carriacou listeners. Whether you are in Carriacou or you are otherwise. Because you have Carriacou people everywhere. I don't think it have a place you could go and you don't bounce up Carriacou people. My good friend who always calls some Aruba, it have a lot of Carriacou people over there. In fact, I've got family in Aruba from the Carriacou side. I don't even know.
Can never compensate for our nation's independence. Our road is long and our work is hard. But
one of these days they must do a little investigation and find out about Grenadians who remained in places like Panama and Aruba and those kind of things. And trace and, reconnect between them and those of us here. That'd be an interesting one for a genealogy person to do, huh? Stephanie John, good night to you and the home circle. Hope everyone is okay.
The errors we made as we strove to build a nation do not.
Very interesting though. I was listening today to a press conference that was held by the government of Grenada in relation to the issue of regularization of lands that people have acquired through government. And several statements were being made there because they were speaking about one, people who obtained piece of land from government and they did not get the final documents for it. So you obtain the piece of land, you have a letter in your hand saying that this is your piece of land, but you have not obtained your final document, like your deed in your hand that says this is the deed. So as we just say here, your land paper. Yeah, you have a document from government saying that the land is yours, but you don't have a land paper that they are going to issue those land papers. That's one. That people who are living on government lands, but they did not receive their land paper yet. They got permission to stay on that piece of land, but they haven't gotten any paper, any kind of documentation that they are going to go through the process to regularize those people. And then they're also going to be taking a look at those folks who good night, Lyndon, Fatman George. Good night to you, bro. Good night. You must give me a call on air, man. You must give me a call too. Yeah. Also, they spoke to the people who are, quote unquote, illegally occupying government land. That's people who just decide they look like a place I could go and stay, and they go and stay there, and they said they're going to go through the process of regularizing those people and so. All well and good. I would not, and I'm speaking about me here, I would not be upset with somebody achieving something in life. I would not be upset with someone getting a piece of land and that's their piece of land. They have that piece of land. I would not be upset in a situation like that. I wouldn't say it's something that government should not do. But if we go back to Budget 2020, in Budget 2023, that was read in late 2022, and if you go back to Budget 2024, that was read in late 2023, both of them mentioned during the debate, both of them mentioned land use policy. Yeah, I know that is something that the new National Party had started and was looking at. Because you're going now to regularize people without a proper land use policy in place. That is the reason the new National Party started off by doing the land use policy. Because what you have happening now is you have situations where because a person has acquired or own a piece of land, they decide whatever business it is they want to do there. So let's say they decide they're opening an entertainment center there, and you have music blasting there on a Friday evening, and the music starts sometime 3 or 4 in the afternoon. They're testing out the sound system, and that music is blasting there up until what o'clock in the morning, and that's in a residential area, so that you're going to have to start zoning certain activities. Because we know how it goes here. Some folks, they own a piece of land, they decide, well, okay, I go in and open my bar and this and that, and they have some DJ set outside, and they start to blast music, and they have an activity, and they start to blast music. And so yes, they may get permission from the government of Grenada to the police to go ahead and play the music and so. But before you start regularizing, I don't know what's up with the throat today, but before you start regularizing, I would think that the first approach is that you look at a land use policy, and I'll say why. If you're traveling in the Grenada area, if you're traveling down in the south of the island, particularly in Montrouge, take a look up on the hillside above where the Cinnamon Hill flamboyant is. And what you would recognize is that people have started to squat on that piece of land hanging over there. One of the best views on the island. I'm not sure if it is government's land or whose land it is, but that hillside. Now, the squatting has taken place on the other side. That's the side hanging over Frequente. So, you have a lot of people that are squatting up on top there. People just say, boy, go and put a house. The girl go and put a house there. And they went and they put houses and so there. That's one situation. But now it has started to come over to the other side. So that's overlooking to Grandance Beach and to BBC and those side there. You realize the houses have started to come over there now. Is government going to regularize these people and say that, okay, you have that house there, you can stay there? Or is it a situation that they are going to now identify that land and say, well, okay, this land either needs to A, stay like that, or B, it needs to be used for tourism development. And as such, we will relocate you to another piece of land. That we are going to find another piece of land that we are going to put in your name and you're going to stay there. That this piece of land, it is zoned for tourism development, or it is zoned to remain as is. Because one of the questions that was asked during that press conference, it was mentioned that the government of Grenada roughly owns about 10% of the lands in Grenada. Grenadians own the rest. Yeah? So that government only has at its disposal 10% of the lands in Grenada. In Petit Martinique, I don't think government have any. So, but here in Grenada, government has 10% of the land. I don't think they even probably have much in Carriacou, much less for Petit Martinique. So the question was asked, what percentage is government intending to hold on to? And that was a very important question. Reason being, the government of Grenada, this government that's here now, the last administration and administrations before, inclusive of other NDC administrations and so, have signed various environmental agreements in which they have stated that they are going to maintain a certain amount of land for forests and that sort of thing. And it's important that you maintain a certain amount of land for forests. You can't go cutting down every time you decide you want to do, you just cut down a forest, because what you are doing is that you are creating a situation where your watershed is going to disappear, and then you're going to be having more and more problems. When rain falls, the soil is going to wash away, you're going to have wash away and so on. Yeah? And then, after a period of time, you end up like how some parts of Haiti are, where you have problems in attracting rainfall in the first place because you have cut down the forests. So Grenada is signatory to several conventions in relation to that. And as I said, this administration the last administration and several administrations before are signatories to these things, which says that you must maintain a certain amount of forests and all these kind of things. So if that is the case, I would think that the first approach, instead of this before-behind approach, would be that you would be looking, good night Montreal, that you would be looking to ensure that you have a proper land use policy, so that you say this area is for industrial development. So you have a tract of land that you say, okay, if somebody wants to do a factory, they want to do a packing plant for packing fruits or whatever, they want to do a canning factory, whatever it is, that those sorts of industries are going to be located in that zone, similar to how you have the Grenada Industrial Development Park there, so that people know if you are going to live close to there, you are living close to an industrial area. So there are benefits, and then there are non-benefits. So there are benefits in that if you're renting, you may be able to rent out your place easier because you have people who may be working in that facility and they need place to stay and so on. So you may be able to rent at a particular price and get your place rented easy. But there's the other one. You may be having a lot of noise. There may be a lot of traffic. According to the type of industry that's taking place, there may be fumes. So there may be different things that are taking place that may not be conducive to residential properties being nearby. So a proper land use policy, and I remember the former ministers, Yolande Bain, Hosford, and Honorable Peter David, I remember them speaking about this land use policy, and we have to ensure that you put in place a proper land use policy before you move into this area. But you see, this government is so desperate for money that they're trying to go and regularize people quick. Because remember, if they regularize 5,000 people, 5,000 households, that's 5,000 households added to the tax base. That's 5,000 households that were not paying taxes because they were illegally occupying or occupying without the final documentation different properties that are now going to be the owners of that properties and are going to have to pay tax, property tax, etc., where they are. So they are desperate for cash, which is why they are rushing into that. So instead of going first and saying, let's do a land use policy, so this is going to be a residential area, and you and I, we hear the calls all the time. We hear the calls on different programs from people that say, well, they can't sleep because there's music being played here, or there is in one instance I heard someone complaining about a steel orchestra that is practicing, and the noise from there, they had to leave and go when the steel orchestra is practicing and that sort of thing. So proper zoning would ensure that those sort of things don't happen. But if you just go willy-nilly and you say, these people stay in here, give them the land there, then you have to consider now about the infrastructure that's going to go in there, because it's not a planned development. Is a man decide this area look nice, I put my house there. Or somebody in desperation, they're looking to do a house quickly, they put a house down there. And they didn't look at, is that an area that when it's the dry season as now, that water will be able to reach up there? They ain't checking on that. All they know is they need a house and they put it down quick. And that happens. We have to understand these things happen. So what is going to be the land use policy? Is the government going to have a land use policy in place before it starts this process? Because I recognize that they were also speaking about ensuring that this is done within a 2-year period. But I ain't hearing nothing about the land use policy being completed. I ain't hearing anything about the land use policy being ready in that space of time. But here it is, you're saying that in 2 years' time, you're going to complete the process of regularizing these groups of people. And outside of regularizing these groups of people within that 2 years, if it doesn't finish in 2 years, you may have to go to a 3rd year to complete it. But yeah, you're regularizing people, but where is the land use policy? Because when a man have that piece of paper in his hand that says, this is my piece of land, and he decide that he go in and put up a local restaurant and bar there, he owns that piece of land. How are you going to stop him from putting up his structure on the piece of land. Yes, you have the Planning and Development Authority, but what are they working with? Are they working with a land use strategy? Yeah? Because right now, remember, these are the same people that are going around there and they're breaking down things all over the place. And, well, I haven't heard of them breaking down things since the people on the Port Highway took them on. But these are the people who have been doing that sort of thing. So we need to hear a little bit more about these things. Folks, 440-7377 and 347-329-3101.
I am Grenadian. I am Grenadian. I am Grenadian. I am Grenadian. Just tell them we proud of we country. Tell them we proud of we land. Tell them we proud of we people. Proud Grenadian. Just tell them we proud of we country. Tell them we proud of we land. Tell them we proud.
And again, people always tend to take, when you speak about something and you offer an alternative perspective on it, as though you're attacking or you're upset or why Ollie didn't do it. No, these things take time. So you've given yourself a 2-year time frame, and here it is that you're saying you're going to do this within a 2-year time frame. But within that 2-year time frame, before you actually start handing people and saying, because you may very well find that areas that should be used for agriculture are now being squatted on, and then you give the people the right now to continue squatting there. And then when they get it right now, they decide they're expanding, or they give a child, this piece is yours now. And so that agricultural land is gone totally. Over the years, people have accused government at taking, no, it's not government. People own the land. We know of the grandparents and the great-grandparents that had the land that they used to plant banana, and they had cocoa and they had nutmeg and different things there. And as soon as they close the eye and the children get it in the hand, they chop it up into pieces and they start selling it out as house spot. I go give you a house spot. And they start selling it out. So land that was into cocoa production, that was into banana, that was into nutmeg or spices, that land now is big house and so there. So you can't blame government for that one. That's people that own their own land. So now if government goes and does the same thing, we could be losing more land that could have gone back into agriculture, because you could have found other places and said to the people, okay, you could live here. We're going to allow you to live here. And in that case, as you're removing the squatters from one area and you're putting them in another area, not just breaking the house and throw them on the street. You are putting them into a planned development, an area with proper egress. You have proper road inside there. You have proper infrastructure for water and for electricity and so on in that area. Yes, so it can't be a situation that you just go and you tell people, well, no, we're moving you from there. No, we're not saying that. And again, it's a suggestion. It seems that some people are vexed when you give a suggestion, you know. 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on the inside.
Both natural and man-made. We have been through the era of the rebel. We have tasted the might of Ivan and more. We went through a struggling economy.
Yes, good night, Los Angeles.
We rise up tremendously. So
I think the sun should still be up in Los Angeles, isn't it?
tell them we proud of we land. Tell them we proud of we people. Proud Grenadian. Just tell
So let me say good afternoon to you all in Los Angeles, I think it is.
we proud of we land. Tell them we proud of we people.
So that's just one of the ones I saw today. Let me also say something here. It's a very interesting thing that I noted. Earlier in the week, several persons were sending to me a video of the Honorable... Yes, Javon. How may I assist you, son? Okay, hold on. All right. Daddy coming just now. Okay. Nice. Right. So you have several situations where I've seen the Honorable Ron Redhead and I've seen him speaking on different issues out there. Yeah, you see him talking on what took place in Parliament and talking on the electronic communications bill and so on. You know what's very interesting about that? I realize that he has become the, how can I say it? He has become the the attack potong. I don't want to say attack dog, but the attack potong of the NDC administration. He's been demoted from government minister to attack potong of the NDC administration because he's the person that they have speaking on everything to kind of protect the others from having to speak. And the thing is, he's talking a lot of nonsense. I heard the chap speaking about the the electronic communications bill and trying to give the impression that podcasts are not covered by it. And I think he needs to go back and read. And if he doesn't read, try and understand. Because if that's the kind of interpretation that he's putting into his studies, I'm sorry for he. Yeah? So if that is what he's putting into that, then I am sorry for him. Folks, I'm going to have to take a short break and be right back. Let me just take a quick one. I will be right back.
Tear this country apart. 25 and on, Grenada in the heart. All because we proud of we country. Because we proud of we land. Because we proud of we people. Proud Grenadians. Just tell them we proud of we country. Tell them we proud of we land. Tell them we proud of we people. Proud Grenadian.
Hail, hail, Mr. Grenadian. It's with great concern that I ask this pertinent question. I can see by your actions that you can care less. Pay no heed while this country struggle to make progress. Yet you claim that you love Grenada and she is second to none. But the first chance to get you split, you pack up and run. Remember you was counted as a citizen of this nation. Rise and take a stand and make a contribution. What have you done for Grenada lately? What have you done to improve this land? What have you done for your country lately? Where is the proof you make a contribution?
Yes, Friday Night Forum, Talking Points, the only program where does that to be able to do that.
So we could keep a couple dollars in hand.
So yes, folks, 440-737-734-732-9310. Let me warn you all, call now. Because if you're trying to call when it's 2 or 3 minutes towards the end of the program, and I have to leave, I will leave, eh? Nice, right?
The country needs you now.
So I realized that he's acting as the attack potong of the NDC administration, and I said, well, what's going on here? Every issue they're trying to make him speak, and the thing is that he does not understand the issues on which he's trying to speak. I heard the guy speaking about the electronic crimes bill and saying that the NDC was against the electronic crimes bill, but the NNP went and passed it still. Let me remind the gentleman, and let me take this call first and I'll come back to that one. Hello, good night. Hello, good night. Going once. Hello, good night.
You're not teachers.
Hello.
Hey, hello.
Yes, go right ahead, caller.
Yes, I heard the president of the Grenada Union Teachers give a big joke that people, that the teachers and even the workers that were at the media couldn't believe what the union teacher, the president of the union teacher said. He said that this government do more than putting all the hello, Brother Sheldon?
Caller, just listen to the phone line and go ahead.
Yeah, he said this government did more for teachers than all putting all the other government together. This government do more. Brother Sheldon, I wonder if the president of the Grenada University was dreaming, or if he was just one lying to he was lying to the teachers and the workers that was there at media. But when you have the teachers, educators who educate, they know. They're them who educate the teachers, teaching the children what is true in school. And he as the president of the Grenada Union Teachers lying on media and said this government did more that and putting all the rest of the government together can't compare to what this present government did. But actually, like I will give you some of the achievement in education from under NMP administration. But actually, when you pass by a school, where you used to see before last 20 to 25 years ago, one vehicle would have been in the compound, and that one vehicle, you have to ask the question, that would have been the principal vehicles. But actually, because of the increase in salary that the NMP government gave to teachers, the teachers were able to buy vehicles. And if you have 100 teachers in a school, about 90% of the teachers, they have vehicles to come to school. You could consider that's a government that care and they develop the teacher's life. But so when you look again at the schools, restructure, refurbishment of schools, when you have look again at the building of new schools, Brother Sheldon, this government, the previous government did a lot more. And I could say they do the most for teachers and for the education of the people, of the children of Great Carriacou and Mathematics. You had the e-learning program. You had the program for the young people again to educate them, the Imani program again, that to educate them to uplift their living standard. But Sheldon, this government, only what they did, they paid the pension, right? And when you look again with the contract workers, the previous government made a lot of workers, teachers that were on contract, made them permanent. And they made them permanent. So the NMP government did a lot for the teachers. They did a lot, much more. And when you're comparing the GRP government, Gary built the most schools, about 20 schools while his administration was the governor. And when you look at Rachel again, what you find out? When you go in a bank, only brown skin, like color people still working in a school, working in a bank. The first black man that work in a bank is under Gary government. So when you compare the GRP government and NFP government, they did the most for education, for the people of Great Carriacou and Mathematics. This government come in last when concerned to do education. So, Brother Sheldon, that's all I say for today. Have a blessing.
All right, thank you, caller. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. And folks, let me just let you all know about this particular one. The Rotary Clubs of Grenada, in collaboration with the volunteer Optometric Services for Humanity, VOSH, of the USA, present a free eye clinic. They will be giving eye medication, eye checks, diagnosis, glasses, and more. That will be taking place next Thursday at the Grenada Youth Center in Montrouge. So that's a free eye clinic. It will be taking place at the Grenada Youth Center next week, Thursday. And the starting time is 8:30 a.m. All right. So that's the Rotary Club of Grenada with VOSH International, the Voluntary Optometric Services for Humanity. They'll be giving eye medication. They'll be checking your eyesight. They'll be giving you diagnosis, glasses, and much more. So they say attendees are requested to have details of current medications on hand. In other words, if you are on medication for an eye condition and you're heading out to that activity, you need to ensure that you carry the medications that you're using. All right? Priority will be given to the elderly, pregnant women, children, and individuals with chronic health conditions and physical disabilities. Again, let me repeat. Priority will be given to the elderly, pregnant women, children, and individuals with chronic health conditions and physical disabilities. All right? So those, if you come and you see some elderly people come after you and they go in before you, don't be upset, because remember, they are going to be given priority. All right? So priority will be given to the elderly, pregnant women, children, and individuals with chronic health conditions and physical disabilities. So that is taking place next week, Thursday. Next week, Thursday, between 8:30 a.m. and 5 p.m. at the Grenada Youth Center. So those of you who can make it, I could tell all you what going on happen there already. I could tell all you what going on happen. All I go say is, because it's starting 8:30, don't try to go there for 8:30. Now that's all I go say. Not because it started at 8:30, mean you should try to go for 8:30. Go a little earlier than that. Eh?
I am Grenada.
In fact, go much earlier than that.
I am Grenadian.
Last one, I think it had people there before the sunrise already starting to queue. Eh?
Just tell them we proud of we country. Tell them we proud.
440-7377, 347-329-3101. And to the last call, I did hear the statement by the president of the Grenada Union of Teachers that the present administration has done more for teachers and than any other government. And I just cast it off as the hogwash that it is, because obviously the individual is seems to be mentally unstable or something to make a statement like that, because we know this government has done very little for workers in the first instance. Let's just make that clear. Yeah? The pension that they keep jumping up on, I will repeat. I've said it before and I'll continue to repeat it. This government had no option. It was not an optional something. It wasn't a could or you can't. It was not optional. Yeah? In fact, the period to challenge, to get a what do you call it again? To challenge the court's decision. The period for that period ended during the term of the new National Party. The NNP could have decided to go in and challenge the court decision and tie this matter up for our next few years. And right now you would not be speaking about pension. You'd still be having a struggle for pension, and they'd say, well, government in court. And so the NNP could have done that. The NNP didn't do it. The NNP said they're going to pay. So to try and make it look that this government did a favor. And I find some of us as NNP taking this and run with it too. And we need to stop that. That, you know, it's like sometimes as supporters of the NNP, or sometimes even just as average Grenadians, we take some of these stories and we run with it and it becomes the reality. Yeah? It's like what they did to the Imani program. When they started using the word Imani as a derogatory word. So you wanted to embarrass somebody, so you call them a Imani. Or you wanted to diminish the work or the placement of a person, so you call them Imani. So Imani became, instead of a program that it was, to provide opportunities for young people, to provide training for young people, to provide so much positivity for young people. Instead of the word Imani being a positive word, a word to build, it became a derogatory word. Oh, you is a Imani broadcaster. You is a Imani bus driver. And started to use the word in a derogatory term. And the worst is when I heard NNP people start to do it. Because they bought into that nonsense of using Imani as a derogatory word and didn't understand that what they were doing is damaging a program that had done so much, yeah, so much for young people. And now you have people buying this story. Don't buy that story. The NDC government didn't do work as a favor. The NDC government didn't fulfill any campaign promise that they could not have fulfilled because they had to. It is a court order. So when they come and they talk about, oh, NDC do good, NDC pay the pension. Tell them straight, NDC didn't have a choice. They had to pay the pension. There was a court order. You wanted them to drag the Minister of Finance before the courts? Did I do it, you know? They could have do that. If the Minister of Finance decide he ain't paying and it's a court order, after a period of time, they're dragging him before the courts, you know. He himself, not to say the Senate, no, he himself had to come and say why they ain't paying. There was a court order to pay the pension. So it had to be paid. So to get the impression that there is some kind of achievement, oh, NDC pay pension, so NDC do more than other government. Absolute nonsense. Yeah, absolute nonsense. Hogwash. Yeah? And hogwash after the hog ain't wash for a few days well. Hogwash. Right? Yes, it was paid during the period of the NDC. The government of Grenada paid the pensions as the court ordered under the NDC. If it was a CDN government, if it was a TNP government, if it was a MBPM government, if it was a NJM government or a GULP government, whichever government was in power had to pay the pension. There's a court order. They didn't have a choice in the matter. So they could thump themselves on the back and continue to say, we paid the pension. They could tap themselves on the back and so as much as they want on that, but it was not something that they had a choice in. They had to pay the pensions. Yeah, and I think we need to understand that. Huh? So don't go around with this thing about NDC pay the pension like if there is some achievement of the NDC administration. That is not an achievement. If anything, it's the achievement of the New National Party. Because the New National Party administration, one, could have challenged the ruling of the court. Yeah, they could have challenged the ruling of the court. And if they had challenged and filed, not a defense, they call it, oh boy, the word is just slipping me now. But they could have filed to go back to court to have a relook at the judgment in relation to that matter, which could have tied up that pension issue for another 5 to 10 years. They didn't do it. The time expired during the period of the New National Party. They did not do it. The money to be able to pay was there because of the prudent economic management of the New National Party. Pensioners should be meeting Mr. Gregory Bowen and Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and shaking their hand. Because the monies were there to pay because of the prudent management of the New National Party administration, not the NDC. They meet the money there. Where the money come from? They meet it there from the New National Party. So for them to get the impression that there is some sort of achievement at the NDC, come on, really? They go fool stupid people with that. Dunce people will get fooled with that. People who don't think on their own go get fooled with that. People who do not know, people who just don't know, they will get fooled with that. Yeah? Because remember, when it came to Miss Armstrong and so on, she took the government to court during the period of the NDC, I think it was, you know. It was the NNP that paid the first set of workers and so on. The first set of people to get their pension and so after the Armstrong was the NNP government. We have a call online. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night. Hello. Hello, good night.
Hello.
Hi, good night.
Hi, good night, Sheldon. I just want to find out when Turkey will be buried.
Turkey was buried yesterday.
What?
Yeah, I myself didn't get the information until Labor Day itself, but he was buried yesterday.
Oh my goodness. That's sad.
Yeah, but we'll talk off the air on that. No problem.
All right, okay then. Good, nice, right?
Yeah. 4407377, that's the number to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. Yeah. So when they try to give the impression that the NDC did so much, take pension off the table because that's not an achievement of the NDC. They were not the ones that didn't challenge the court case. All right, JJ. Good job. Good job. Go and draw the next one for me. Yes, it's a train. Yes. Go and draw the next one for me.
2 trains.
Yeah, 2 trains? Yeah. Go and draw Oliver for me. Oliver and James. Go and draw Oliver and James for me. Yes, Oliver and James. Draw them for me. Go right ahead. Yes, folks. So you know, I have him in studio with me tonight again. Go and sit. And the troublesome trucks, right? Go and have a seat and draw them for daddy. Nice. Yeah. So they have to take pension off the table totally. If you're talking about achievement, that ain't no NDC achievement. It happened during the time because it had to happen. And they happened to be in the seat when it happened. The money to pay, they did nothing to get that money together to pay. In fact, remember, the present Prime Minister was speaking of having to possibly go and take a loan and so on to pay. He was talking about the possibility that they might have to go and get a loan and all of this thing to pay. But they found the money in the treasury and they were able to pay. There was a process that had to go through before you pay. You must, number one, you must find out, you must let everybody know. You must go through now and you must find who are the people to be paid. Then you have to make the calculation for each person to be paid. And you have to make sure that they are paid the proper amount and so. And this administration still messed that up because they overpay. Many of the people were overpaid. Some of the people were overpaid due to one reason. Because these pensioners were paid during the period of the New National Party. When the NNP had made the payment a few years back to several pensioners, several of these people who received their money then, these people were paid that money a second time by this NDC administration. So that is why you had the situation. Folks, let me just let you all know, we do not answer private calls here. I will keep your privacy private, yeah? So we ain't taking no private calls. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, but just a policy that we have. So yeah, the NDC administration overpaid these people because the people were already paid by the NNP and they came and they paid the people the difference and still paid them the amount of money that the NNP had paid them before. So these people were overpaid. So there had to be a process. There had to be a process because you had to have a proper calculation, the amount of people, the amount of money to be paid and so. Yeah, so that process was started. That's why you had a secretariat established. That's why you asked individuals to bring in their documentation. Right? So that is the process that took place. So to try to give the impression that, oh, we are the ones, well, nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Yeah? And just before I had taken the break earlier, I was speaking in relation to the Electronic Crimes Act and a statement that was made by the Member of Parliament for St. George Northeast, Mr. Ron Redhead. And he was speaking nonsense. Back in 2013, 2014, the New National Party, as part of the suite of legislations, you had a lot of legislations that were drafted during the period of the NDC by the regional body. So the regional body was a suite of legislations that was being passed in Grenada and St. Lucia and St. Vincent and Dominica, etc. Part of that was the Electronic Crimes Act. So you had the Electronic Crimes Act that was part of that legislation. There was concern among several sectors of the Grenadian society in relation to a section which spoke to, in the view of many people, criminalizing statements made on social media and things like that. That if a person were to say nasty things about you and so via social media, that under that act, that these people could have been charged and so on. So the Media Association at that point in time, and okay, great, good job. Go and sit down. Oh, okay, baby. Go and sit down. Yes, I've seen it. Go and sit down now. Come. Yes, okay, great. Good job. Now, here's what Daddy needs you to do. Go and sit down, right? And yeah, go ahead. Go on. Go on now. Go on now.
Oh, that's stuck in the bridge.
It's stuck on the bridge?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So, Daddy coming. You will tell me this story just now, okay? Daddy's working.
James is
Okay, Javon. Javon, no. Go on, sit down. Go and sit down now. No, not now. Right? Nice. So part of the legislation they had concerns with. The new National Party, even though the bill had come to the Senate already, withdrew the bill. I would know. I was the person that was dealing with that bill in the Senate, and that bill was withdrawn. And the sections which they had concerns with, because the Media Association was speaking about it. So the sections that they had concerns with, we withdrew and we changed it over. Yeah, we removed those sections. So those sections are not in the law now. We said people have concerns with it. While we may not agree with what they were saying, we remove those sections from the law. We didn't agree that that was criminalizing it because one, if a person made a statement was made from a page. One, you had to prove that it is, for instance, if you claim it's Sheldon that said, even though it might be my Facebook profile, you had to prove it's me that was using my Facebook profile at that point in time. There was a lot of information that you had to prove at that point in time to make sure that this was Sheldon Scott at that point in time and that it was him making that statement. So it was not a situation. It was, and I think we have a call online. Let's go to the call. Hello, good night.
Good night, Talking Points family. On the issue, I just want to make a point on the issue of pension. Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you, brother. You go right ahead.
Yes. I remembered I was big enough when Sir Eric Geary came from England to announce independence. And his first plan was to build an international airport for Grenada. He had two sites, Point Saline and even the Pearl side. I was big enough when I heard him made that point, when he made that statement. The revolution came. They made the plan, the physical planning, the land location, everything in Point Saline. Within 79 to what time you think a government could get land, physical planning, and all this thing ready to start a airport? No, they had it. So they worked on it. They got the funding from Cuba and the other places, and they started working on it. Maurice Bishop died in 1983, before the airport was finished. The US government contributed $12 million to the airport so that it can be able to operate. The airport was open in 1984 under Nicholas Brafitt. Are they praising Nicholas Brafitt for the airport? No, they only praising Maurice Bishop. So how you could tell me you meet a pension plan there, all the names there, how much everybody have to get, you just have to disseminate the checks and you want to take credit for it? I can understand that. I can understand when I hear NNP people saying that, oh yes, NDC pay pension. Did you ever hear NDC mention pension reform in any of the campaign? Did they go through the struggles? Did they fight for it? Did they do anything for it? I think we must stop that. I think we must stop say NDC pay pension. Say NDC hand out the checks to the people who was eligible for pension. And that's my point tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, caller. And that's exactly it. We hear in some NNP people with this thing about NDC. NDC and pay no pension, according to the caller. And I like how the caller puts it. They hand out the checks. That's all they had to do. And again, the caller also made another very important point there. When they were on the campaign trail, you didn't hear them talking about pension reform. There was no talk about pension reform on the campaign trail. Right? Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, he spoke about the importance and the need for pension reform. When he was doing that, They were attacking him, speaking on it and saying NNP were pension reform. Pension is part of the Constitution. And yes, pension is part of the Constitution. Pension is part of the Constitution. And the court give down the judgment, just pay. We want to hear nothing about pension reform. Now this government is speaking about pension reform. And here they're speaking about it. They have not included the unions, you know. They have not included the unions in the discussion on pension reform. Unions, tell me a lie. Have the government involved you in the committee on pension reform? They have not. But when Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell was speaking about pension reform, and he said to the unions, come, let's sit down and have a talk in relation to this one. Not a union showed up. None. Not a union showed up. So now you have the issue of pension reform. And in fact, you're hearing the government speaking in the way of, and you heard the president of the union, the Public Workers Union, saying that his sources are saying that from June the 1st, in less than a month from now, because we are on the 3rd day of May, and that from June, they're looking to start with the pension reform. And part of the pension reform will be that they're going to be taking a percentage of the salary of all public workers to put towards a contributory pension. The Constitution does not speak to a contributory pension. The Constitution speaks to a pension that the government pays, but that workers do not contribute to. Most pensions you hear around the world, it's workers contribute a certain percentage and then over a period of time, similar to what you have with the NIS, right? But when it comes to the pension here, it is not a case where you have a contributory pension in the form of the government pension. So now you're hearing that the government wants to do that. And at the same time, when they already increasing the percentages that they're taking out of your salary in relation to NIS, and now you want to take another percentage again towards the contributory pension and things like that. So you may have gotten 4%, but they might be taking 6 back. So you may very well find a situation where the workers, the unions may have negotiated and they may have gotten a 4% increase. But then you realize government takes 6% back. So it is what it is. 440-7377, 347-329-3101. You all know I have to keep an eye. All right, yes, he's drawing again. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah, those are the numbers for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Na, 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 na. Whoa. Doctor.
And folks, as I saw a comment there by one caller who is speaking about some electricity issues that they're having.
Some call you a little baby.
Don't ever for 1 minute take your all eyes off a Grenlec, eh? Yeah, don't ever for 1 minute take your all eyes off a Grenlec. Warning you all. Because things could be happening there. Anyway, we'll get to that one. We've got a call online. Good night. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Sheldon.
Hi, good night.
Good night, man.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead. You're live.
I'll study the men and them see that even though somebody make 10 years with the government, they title to something. I work 18 years, Sheldon. I bring all my NIS paper. When they tell me I make 14 years, I drop it in for them. I check them. They tell me they go call me. Up to now, Sheldon, they don't call me. Since August, I retire the 19th of August. Coming on a year now, I don't get a cent. I don't get a cent. I still want to go back and check them and see what they have for me in place. Because I find that it's very unfair to someone with the poor people, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They have to treat us better than that. And I work very hard. I'll know I mash up. I do well now. I take me 60 years. I sick like a dog and nothing for me. But it's all right. I'm waiting on them still. Anyhow, have a good night, man. Continue with what you're doing.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yes, man.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
And folks, let me say this as well, because a lot of people don't seem to understand this particular one. The new National Party administration, and the year slips me, I'll find the law in a little while, brought in what you call a special pension. So there is a situation where a person who may not have made the amount of time within the government service according to the law and so on, they may not have made the requisite, I think it was 24 and 3/4 or something like that. They may not have made the prerequisite time within the public service to qualify for a pension. The new National Party put in place legislation that allowed cabinet to decide on a special pension in cases like that, So people like the caller that called there, if for some reason he did not make the amount of time to qualify for a pension, or there was some other reason that is keeping him from getting a pension, he can make an application to the cabinet of Grenada, and the cabinet can make a decision to give this person a special pension. I'm sure a lot of you didn't know that, but that law has been in place quite a few years now. Somebody sent it to me. Yeah, but that law has been in place quite a lot of years now, so there is a special pension. And again, it was the NNP government. So there is a law in place in relation to special pensions, so that the people like the caller who called there, just in case the reason that he hasn't gotten his pension is because he hasn't made the amount of time. If you're a police officer, you must make an amount of time before you could qualify for a pension. A nurse, a teacher, etc., you have to make a certain amount of time before you could qualify for a pension. In case you fall short, there's the special pension. So the cabinet, in other words, the same ministers and them who flapping the gum there, could sit down in cabinet on an application by an individual to give them a special pension. So they can make the decision yes or no. That application can go to cabinet for that. So my friend, if they ain't give it one way, make an application to the cabinet. Yeah, make an application to see if you can get your special pension. All right, 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That's the number for you to call and get onto the inside.
You have been through, was so much for you, yet you had resilience to stand them. Revolution, intervention, and coup, yet you produce some beautiful children. This is the land that has famous people like Junior Murray. This is the land, Anderson Peters and Champion Kirani, land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it would be great. This is the land, we produce people like the mighty sparrow. This is the land, Randy Isaac, Becky, we did a jamo, land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it would be great. We don't talk much about your troubles.
440-7377, 347-329-3101. So when they're talking about this government do more for workers and so, no, that ain't true. In fact, I am absolutely sure that the new National Party has regularized more teachers than the NDC has regularized, even if you match any period of the NNP towards any period of the NDC, that the NNP has regularized more teachers, more nurses, and more civil servants than the NDC has done thus far. And the NDC were the one that was saying all it takes is the stroke of a pen, that they will do it immediately on assuming office.
This is the land, some strong leaders that come from this island, land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot wait my birth. Let's celebrate 50.
But then you can't look in an empty bucket and expect to find anything about air. So what do you expect to hear from Jude?
Island, let's celebrate. Oh, let us celebrate. Big celebration for my little island. Let's celebrate. Whoa, let us celebrate. Let's celebrate 50. We made it to half a century. Let's celebrate. Whoa, come, let's celebrate.
folks, also remember the Grenada Invitationals are coming up next month. You'll have the opportunity to see some of your local, or people that we're sending to the Olympic Games. Grenada is the only OECS territory that's sending a team to the Olympic Games, and you could say, watch, medal, medal, medal. Other teams, there are at least 2 other teams they could watch and say medal, medal, right? Just 1 per team. Grenada team, you could watch and you could say medal, medal, medal. Yeah?
I just cannot mention everybody. Land of my birth, all Grenadians.
So Lyndon, Victor, Karani, James, Anderson, Peters, they'll all be in action. This is an Olympic year. Don't wait until when you see the Olympic flame pass through and all kind of thing to start supporting your athletes. Huh?
My birth, land of my birth.
And of course, we did mention earlier the situation with the shooting and so, and we just want to re-emphasize the point that we made last night. It may be important for this government to still consider, and I mean, if it's only the New National Party saying it, it doesn't seem that they're listening. But then when you don't have any NGOs in existence again in Grenada, it doesn't seem as though we have an NGO organization or NGO body in Grenada again to speak on certain issues, because you have to ask yourself the question, where are they on issues such as these? Yeah? Where are the NGO bodies, the NGO groupings, to speak about the crime situation and how it's affecting businesses, how it's affecting families, and so on? You need what? The red pen. Okay. Here's the red one. I hope it works. Here. So we need to hear from the NGO organizations. We need to hear what they have to say in relation to issues like this. Because, remember, we've said it before, I said it last night, and I'll say it again. Because you want to make sure that the point is made that if this administration were to consider paying for all of the, it's writing now, if this administration were to consider paying for each gun that is brought in or found due to information received, not just, we're not saying that, okay, it's only when you bring a gun in that you're paid for bringing in the gun. No. But that if information, so the onus comes off of the person who has the gun onto people that know of the existence of the gun. And these people, I look at, for instance, Jamaica, the Jamaica Police Force, they have on a weekly basis, you know, Jamaica is a pretty large country, and they have a lot of wanted people. And they put up the information. I laugh like hell around Christmas time. They put up the pictures of some guys they were looking for, and the reward money. And they were telling Jamaicans that, look, you could fill up your fridge for the Christmas. Just tell us where these guys are. Or you're having a bad Christmas, but you know where this fella is. Tell us where he is. Valentine's Day, they put out a Valentine's poster with one of the wanted guys saying, well, you could take your sweetheart out for dinner and so on. Just tell us where this guy is, and it's easy money. We're giving you the money one time. Yeah? And if you take that approach here in relation to the firearms, that say where it is, right? There's no white one. You can have a blue and you can have a black. No, the blue one, so that you can draw it properly. There's blue and there's black, but there's no. The white is still black. See, doesn't write. So use those. Yeah, use those and then you'll bring it back for daddy, okay? Nice. Yeah, I had to multitasking tonight. Yeah, my hands are more than full tonight indeed. Yeah, 4407377. That's 44. You all realize now why usually I didn't want to do the Friday night programs. Yeah. 4407377 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. And as I said, when the time comes and you see a going, I do answer in. And I'm still trying to figure out, because we are now, let me see how many days we are on now. Because now we're on about 680 or so days since the NDC administration has been in office, roughly around that, since the NDC administration has been in office. And I'm still trying to find out what have they achieved? What have they really achieved? You have ministers who seem to have disappeared into thin air. The people of St. John are still asking, where's their MP? They don't know if she take up another job as an air hostess. We have a call online. Hello, good night. Hello, good night.
Hey, Sheldon.
Hey, sir.
I know you're my good friend Tommy, man. Tommy.
Can we go call when she's ready, man?
Right, well, I want to tell her good night and things.
Sometimes she's listening, but she just relaxing.
But I just want to tell her good night. She Rasta friend. Always pass by her and drink something by her.
Yeah,
tell
man.
her have a good night. I love her.
All right, bye-bye.
Yes, man. I'm a good friend.
All right, thank you.
Yes, man.
All right, blessings. Yes, indeed. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. All right, and folks, let me say early, we will not be doing a Friday night forum next week. I'm saying it early. We will not be doing a Friday night program next week. Yeah, due to several circumstances. Yes, we will not be doing a Friday night program next week. So 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get onto the inside of tonight's program. So yeah. So I was telling you all, on when it comes to certain individuals and the statements that they have been making, you take a look and you realize now that every time certain things have to be spoken on, the main ministers ducking out and they're sending that particular individual to talk. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Sheldon, and good night to the Grenadian people. Rastafari, good night.
I know you're there listening.
I'm listening, boy. I just lie down, just listening. Me back hurting me so much, whole day me back hurting me, so I come home and I just lie down with me back pain. I don't feeling so good these 2 days at all. You know, but a day, I read, Rastafari, give thanks. You know, people thinking about me, that is a love. It's a love. Yes. Good night to Patty and Matthew and all the Nurse Maguire, everybody in America, Mr. Watts, everybody. Dr. Mitchell, good night. Mr. Olan Bain Osford, good night. Peter Charles David, good night. All the true NNPIs, I want to set out my love for the weekend. The true NNPIs I'm speaking about. You know? Anyhow. Good night, I lie down, listen, I go and eat a cucumber and go and lie down. It's rough out, you are rough out here, oh God. Let we continue praying for our country. Yes. Everybody, good night. Sheldon and the little one in the studio there, good night.
Yes, man. Your friend in the studio getting trouble tonight.
Eh?
Your friend in the studio giving trouble tonight.
Yeah, you don't give me trouble like children. What you go do? It's better idea you put down than you living with somebody.
No.
Or wherever and something happens.
I like what you do.
Anyhow, good night, good night.
Right.
Today is the worst what I see going on in town.
Wow.
Friday, you know. A day Friday, nothing going on. Anyhow, everybody have a blessed and wonderful weekend. Yes. Later.
Right. Kami, before you go though, what do you have? Yeah. What do you have for folks that traveling back? You know, when people going back, they like to pass by you. What you have? What do you have there for people that are heading back?
I have there right now, and people are buying clothes. I have a lot of little jeans for children. 1 year old, 2 years, 3, 4, 5. I have some little clothes selling out. They send it on for me. Somebody send it for me to help them. Oh. Yes, and some T-shirts, some big men boxers. Yeah. And but people are buying clothes, people passing and I saw something to yam and blog and pig. People are buying clothes, but that is what I have. So anybody interested, they could pass. But I know they don't have money. The poor people don't have money. If the poor people just buy. People that have their money and their bank card, they shopping online. But the poor class people in Grenada, when they get the road work or they go and clean somebody else, they pass and support me and other vendors. They don't have that. They have a little $20, a little $50. They have to go and buy piece of meat upon a fish, upon a jack's $10. They selling the jacks for the rough in Grenada. And we have to thank God. As Grenadians, we have family in America and England and Canada. Today, I see a truck up. You have about 50 barrels. That is food they send for the family. Food they send for the family. And I agree with the man that speak about the airport. They only hand out the check. They're taking credit for what they do. And when I call your program, a lot of them passing and saying all kind of thing. But the only reason why I doesn't put some real word on them, the police want to lock me up. So I just have to keep my peace. You know? Yeah. But anyhow, God is good. We're going to get out of that one day. One good day. Have a blessed weekend, Grenada. Home and abroad. Bye-bye.
Bye, Gabby. You have a wonderful one tonight.
Well, yes, we have to try, Sheldon. And, you encourage them, encourage parents that have control over the children to register, to register. Because if these people go back and vote and put these people there, we dead this wrong. We dead.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good night.
Yes, indeed.
A lot of bad-minded Grenadians, they're ungrateful and they don't have no thanks. And I have no apology when I say that. They turn as milk. Like when you go and buy cow milk and you put it in a dirty pot, it turn. So some of them turn. It's sad. It's really sad. Mm-hmm. I cannot forget where I was and where I is today. Good night, Doc, wherever you is, sir. Pleasant night. And Miss Jolan Ben Hartsford. Miss all the NSP ministers. All. Good night. I love you all. And when we have any little thing, we as members must support the party. Because we need to have money 1 year for the elections so we could go in rallies. We need that. Don't afraid to spend our money when all you have. When they have something somewhere, pay a boss. We're not in power now. We can't pay no free boss. Pay a boss.
Say it again, Gami. Say it again. All right.
Sheldon, a lot of them doesn't come out.
Say it again.
Whenever we having anything anyway, pay a boss. All you have money to go in all things NDC people having. Are you going? Pay a boss. When you have a breakfast, buy lunch. Pay for a breakfast. Even if you don't want it, just give them the $10. I does that.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I don't get it good, I'm paying. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Gabby. You enjoy the rest of your night.
Miss Jolan Bain, good night, darling. That lady is a darling. Before I go, Sheldon, let me just say one thing. Some does not agree. It's like when I call.
No, you go ahead.
That lady, Miss Jolan Bain, did so much for she and thing. And when I hear it, Lady Lucy sit, I could not have believed. I couldn't believe that. And she's still doing it. She still does do. Oh, God Almighty. Grenadian, they have to eat their fingernail. A lot of supporters have to eat their fingernail. And they must call Peter name. They must call Dr. Mitchell name. They have to call all the MPs name. They have to eat their fingernail. Trust me. Have a good night, everybody. Bless weekend. Bye-bye.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. 440-7377. That's 440-7377. That is the number for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yes, we have roughly about half an hour left on tonight's program. Yes, so let me say a special good night to my partner CH. No, I'm going to give you a call. I will give you a call, CH. Yeah, I'll make sure today. I was kind of back and forth on several things. So I'll give you a call tomorrow. Well, it's Saturday, so I know how to find you on a Saturday. Yeah. 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers to call and get on the inside. So again, when it comes to the electronic crimes bill, because I kind of all over the place tonight, I know. When it comes to the electronic crimes bill, and the fact that several sections were withdrawn from the bill, and then the bill was passed with the amendments made to it and so. Yeah, because the media was saying, oh, this is going to affect. You had to prove who was the person that was saying the untrue things about you. So first of all, you had to be able to prove. Not because the profile belongs to person A, it belongs to Sheldon. Meaning Sheldon using the profile. Yesterday, I was signed out from my Facebook profile, and my Facebook profile signing in some other country. Yeah? And it was only because I had the two-factor authentication that you keep hearing Mr. Jervis Dabrio saying to everybody to make sure that they have. Only because I had that I was able to protect my account. So, it isn't necessarily because the account belongs to me that what is said on the account is said by me. So you had to prove it was me that was there. Prove that was me saying what was being said. And also, then you had to prove that I was doing that with malintent. You had to prove that I was saying that trying to damage you. So there was a lot of things there, but instead of going through all of that, it was withdrawn. It was withdrawn, and the amended bill was passed. And the point that the individual was trying to make was that NNP don't listen and NNP does. That's not true. There have been other bills that came up, and there was contention in relation to it, and the NNP held back on it and made amendments to it, or withdrew and did over the bill and different things. There's several other bills that happened on. Yeah? But what we have been saying in relation to the data protection bill, remember the data protection bill still there? What we've been saying in relation to data protection bill, what we have also been saying in relation to the electronic communications bill is that there are clauses in it, there are parts in it that can be used to attack people. It doesn't mean that it will be used tomorrow. It doesn't mean that it will be used during the week next week. But it's there and can be weaponized at any point in time to attack people. And they need to understand. And there's something that, you have to understand. You're in office now. You're putting something like that in place now. You in office now. Another government can come in that could then use the same thing that you put in now, that you did not listen about. Another government could use it against you. Because you didn't listen when you were being told, hey, this can be weaponized. Because right now the Public Service Commission has been weaponized against people perceived to be NNP supporters within the public service. We have a caller online.
Sheldon, sorry to call back.
No problem.
I
You go ahead.
forget to tell you.
You go ahead.
I have some local corn flour.
But that's what I was asking about, to know if you had the corn flour and the
I grind some this today.
Okay, good.
Yes, but I tried them out this evening before I come up. So I had some corn flour and I had the local cocoa, better known as the chocolate, local chocolate. A man buy some cocoa and he tell me he just eat it, so he doesn't boil it, he eating it. So anybody is listening, I have local corn flour. $5 a pound for dried corn. $5. So I had to put up a little money on the corn flour, so now you come. Do not ball. $5 I pay for a pound of dried corn. Anyhow.
All right, Cabby.
Have a good night. And thanks again, sir. Thank you very much.
No problem, my dear.
Because I need a little money to buy me little food.
Yes.
And me little medication. I really need it. I'm struggling, but, pass and support me.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course.
Because we like a family, and then people is a family. All right, bye.
All right, my dear. And folks, people from all over has come, and sometimes they're looking for Cammy. They don't know who the person is because they don't know what she looks like, but the voice, sometimes they just hear the voice and they say, that is the lady I'm looking for. But yeah, folks, I was saying, the Public Service Commission has now been weaponized against people who are perceived to be supporters of the new National Party. So you have people being hauled in, you have letters passing and all sort of thing. I wonder if they passed the letter, the one that they sent out there telling public servants to be careful about what they're posting on social media and so. I wonder if they give that letter to certain people within the public service, because I know of one nurse, Jesus, just say anything. The party in power. So they could say anything. Anything. Yeah? You have other people working in other departments that just feel they could say anything and attacking people. So you have various people that just feel they could say and do as they want. Yeah? Various people that just say they could, they feel to say that, they say it. So when they passed that, I hope that they gave it to certain people within the public service. I could call names, certain people within the public service. Because if they start to attack supporters of the New National Party for saying things that are not favorable to the government, they better also start dealing with all the people on the NDC side who are saying negative things about people in the NNP and other people as well. Yeah, and they're saying it on a daily basis on social media. Don't go for one set of people. If you're going, you better go for all. Yeah, we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Sheldon.
Hi, good night, my dear.
I don't know what is going on with Grenada. That is the fifth time for the day electricity going. I want to know when my plans is spoiled, who will be giving me back the money to buy a new one.
So which area are you though?
St. Mark.
You're in St. Mark. Oh boy. Because I saw one of the listeners, I saw them send a message that the electricity keeps going in their area. Now I'll tell you this: there's a form that Grenlec has that if your appliance blow because they keep taking and putting back current, you can fill in that form and you bring it into them for compensation. Okay. It is available online on the Grenlec website, but they also have it at the Grenlec main office, and so you can get the form. I think the procedure is you got to get an electrician to double check and say that yes, this did happen because Grenlec, and so yeah, your refrigerator spoiled because Grenlec keep taking the current every now and then, right? And so you get an electrician, you fill that form in and you bring it into them and they would compensate. Well, they're supposed to compensate you. I don't know if they are compensating people, but that should be the procedure.
Thank you.
All right, just in case you didn't know.
Thank you.
All right, my dear. You have a good one. Yeah, a lot of folks didn't know that one, but you can. There is a form that you get from Grenlec. You fill that form in. Let me just clear the box. You fill that form in, and you would bring that form into the Grenlec office, and I'm trying to find it as I'm speaking to you all, and they would have to compensate you. Yeah, they would have to compensate you because it's not something that was done because of you, right? Let me see. This is the Grenlec website. I'm trying to see if I can find the form. So because I did see the form before on the Grenlec page. So I'm trying to see if I can find it again so that you all will be able to. Oh boy, yeah, I'm not finding it there now. Yeah, I'm not finding it, but it is somewhere there. It is on their page. I did see it before. I will find it and I'll make it available to you all, right? Yeah, let me see if I can find that. Just give me 1 second.
Square miles. Even though we're very small, come visit, you'll have a ball. I tell you, this is a paradise. A lot of people don't know we have nutmeg and cocoa. That is how we came the Isle of Spice. So in 1970.
Yeah, folks. So this is, I'm going to the Grenlec website. I'm going to the Grenlec website here. That's Grenlec. So that is Grenlec.com, Grenlec.com, Grenlec.com. Yeah, so you're seeing that here. In fact, let me put it a little bigger so you all will see it properly. Yes, so Grenlec.com. Let's just get rid of this here. This is in the Just in the way, hey, move thing. Come here, let me X that out. Nice, right. So grenlec.com, right? And when you go to, come on, website. What are you doing to me now? Come on, Grenlec. Yeah, let's just get it down a bit here. Nice, right, yeah. So under our customers, so this is the Grenlec website. You see home, our customers, under our customers, you go there. The menu says here, tools to help you. You go under the tools to help you, and it has here damage claim. So you click on damage claim, and this is the form, right? The name on the account, contact person, your meter number, all of this information is here so that you would be able to fill this form out, right? And get it back to Grenlec, right? And dollar amount of damage claim and so they spoil your fridge, they spoil your TV, whatever it is, the damage claim, you would be able to fill the damage claim out and get your stuff back. Yeah? So you can do that. All right, folks, so I thought it was necessary. Let me just show you all how to get it. Not everybody knows how to find these things all the time. But just in case you're having a problem, your computer spoil, they blow some one of your electronic equipment or so, you can go, you get the damage claim form. Remember, you're going to grenlec.com. Under our customers, there are tools to help. You see our services, blah, blah, blah. Our tools to help, and you can go here and you go on, you click on damage claim and the form would be there. You can print the form and that sort of thing, all right? Or you can have somebody print the form for you as well. All right, 440-7377 and 347-329-3101. Those are the numbers for you to call and get on to the inside of tonight's program. Yeah.
To my little country. Now won't you join with me and sing this melody? We celebrating 50. Let us live in unity. Put away political party.
Yeah, right now the I've heard of public service commissions before, and there were some wonderful people I know over the years have been serving on the public service commission. But you see this one and some of the things that are being done there, and the kind of, in my view, weaponizing it, using it to kind of terrorize certain people out of the public service. I have a serious problem with that. I have a serious problem with that. Weaponizing the public service to use against various people. And we have a caller online. Hello, good night.
Hi, good night, Sheldon.
Hi.
Sheldon, I continue telling you about these people and them love to wear people's shoes. I know when they will start to wear their own shoes. They just love wearing people's shoes. I continue telling you that. And they like to take what is not big. They like to take praise for things that they did not do. Somebody's shoes is going to squeeze them one day.
Well,
goodbye, Sheldon.
All right, thank you. Well, my friend, it's like they're taking the praise for the industry, the tourism industry right now, and the figures increasing in the tourism industry. And everybody knows, I mean, come on, Grenadians are not stupid people. Grenadians know what is going on. They understand, as much as these people may think that Grenadians stupid and they believe in them and they're falling for the nonsense. Grenadians are intelligent people. So Grenadians know what's going on. They know that increase in tourist arrivals have nothing to do with the government right now. Nothing to do with them. Because this government has not even released a new strategy in relation to tourism and tourism arrivals and creation of new sites and that sort of thing. The only thing you hear them talking about is the underwater park in Carriacou. But ask them, what are the arrangements for increase in getting people to come to Grenada and then stay over in Carriacou and so on? So yes, okay, you put a new attraction in Carriacou. Right. Is that part of a broader strategy, or you just do that to say, well, when it comes to tourism, we put a thing in Carriacou and we paint a place pink? Is that what they're going to say? We paint a place pink and we put an underwater park in Carriacou. That's the achievement? That is what caused an increase in arrivals in Grenada? What is the strategy? And you have to ask them those questions when they get the opportunity. What is the strategy that they are utilizing for increase in tourism. What are they doing? I left the south of the island, no water. What is the strategy? We understand it is a dry season. We understand that you're saying that there are various things that need to be done. But what is going to be the strategy for the farmers? Are we going to end up in a situation that we have to start importing all our basic food stuff up from Guyana? What is this? What are we going to do to maintain or to supplement our local produce? Are we going to have to start getting cabbage and lettuce and everything coming up from other countries? Because Trinidad is going through the same kind of dry spell that we're going through. Grenada is going through. Trinidad is going through it. St. Vincent is going through it and so. But if they have strategies in place to provide irrigation and to provide the main component, water, to the farmers so that they can grow their crops, then we might find ourselves having to buy from them. And then the main body that we need to be able to control that does not exist again. There's no marketing board. Because if you're going to buy all this food stuff coming out from St. Vincent and coming out from Trinidad and coming across from Barbados and so, if you're going to focus on doing that, Gigi, I'm laughing. If you're going to focus on doing that, then at least you need an agency to coordinate it. So why is taking where the marketing board? Where is the marketing board? Where is the Marketing and National Importing Board? We heard, the last thing I think I hear is that it's supposed to be, the new entity supposed to be started next month. That's the last I hear, so I'm waiting to see. Because the last you hear is that the new entity is supposed to start next month. Then you heard there were issues as well when it came to the workers and their pension, and so there was some agreement that they were supposed to receive a certain amount of money out of what they had paid for the pension. That didn't happen. Government didn't settle that part, so that hasn't been paid. The workers have been complaining that they did not receive their money. They were promised and they didn't receive it. There was the other talk about creating a fund and placing money inside there for the workers to be able to access to start their small businesses and provide training and funding for them to start their own small businesses. That never took place either. Up to now, that has not taken place. So now you find yourself in a situation, and this is where understanding leadership, understanding how to perceive threats in the future that are going to be coming and preparing for them. So you understand that you're going through a dry spell right now. You know for a fact it is going to negatively affect the farmers. Large and small scale, it's going to affect the farmers. You have made absolutely no move to assist the farmers through, say, an emergency fund for irrigation, or even to give them the implements, because it's an emergency situation. The only thing the ministry has done in relation to irrigation is cut off water for some farmers in St. Andrew at a point in time that you're going into a drought. You cut off water to farmers at a point in time that you're going into a drought. That's long as it's making sense to all you. And then the one agency, when the farmers here cannot produce the fruits and vegetables, when they cannot, because they have no water to grow them, and their fruits are burning out in the fields out there right now, and they cannot get the water to be able to deal with them, at least you could have the Marketing and National Importing Board as an agency that you could have utilized now to contact the farmers in Dominica that have a lot of water. I don't think them go have much problem there. To contact the farmers in Dominica, or in St. Lucia, or in St. Vincent, or in Barbados, or in Trinidad, and get the fruits and vegetables into Grenada so that you could continue operating. No, they ain't doing that. You're hearing marketing board go open next month. That's the last thing we're hearing on it. That marketing board go open next month. And this government still refuses to have a weekly press conference. The ministers coward. All them ministers, they're afraid up to this day. Let me ask all you, have you all ever seen the Honorable Karine James on any program? Up to this day, on a press conference answering questions from reporters. Have you all ever seen her on a single press conference? You all ever see her on a press conference where people could ask her, well, what's going on in St. John, girl? What's going on in St. John's? What are some of the massive achievements you've been doing up there? Nothing. Always out the country. Always liming. Some of them spend more time out of Grenada than they spend in Grenada. And then when they come back, they do not come and report to the Grenadian people that we went here and we secured $10 million for this project. And that's going to be split at $1.5 million through these constituencies or whatever. Nothing. They come back and all they realize is the clothes that they was wearing before they go, they can't wear them clothes again because they put on some size. Yeah? They put on some size. So they can't put on the clothes they put on before. That's the only thing that you're seeing. That the only thing is only them benefiting and not the country. And then when you go to the parliament and you ask, you say, okay, let us see how much has been spent on travel. You get all kind of rigmarole in relation to that. All kind of rigmarole you're getting in relation to that. They want to answer how much they're spending on travel. Well, maybe we need to ask, well, how much you gain from traveling then? But then again, you ain't going to get the answer in relation to that. You ain't gain. Dr. Mitchell posed how much? I sure Dr. Mitchell at least posed maybe about 60 or 70 questions up to now. And if a third of those have been answered, a lot has been answered. I am positive it had to be between 60 and 75 or some of the questions that he has posed since the parliament has opened under this NDC administration. And they await the responses. The other day, you had Senator the Honorable Neil Franklin asking questions in the Senate. And the government side taking this thing for kicks. They just refuse. Basically, they're refusing. And I saying it as it is. They're refusing to answer. You won't tell a member of parliament that asking you a question in the parliament to go and ask a customs agent or something. Not only is that disrespectful to the parliamentarian that is asking the question, it is disrespectful to the parliament and it is disrespectful to the people of Grenada who that parliamentarian is asking the question on behalf of. They out of order and fast. You can't be telling them that. You provide the answer. That's what you're supposed to do. I remember on several occasions during my time in the Senate, questions were asked. Sometimes you might have a delay in answering the questions, but one thing is for sure, every question was answered. I challenged them to find one question that was not answered. All the questions were answered. Sometimes. Between the parliament sittings, somebody might slip up in the ministry providing the information for you. So that question is not answered at the next sitting. But by the sitting after that, it is answered. The questions are provided. The answers to the questions are provided. So I don't understand why it is that this government, one, they ain't having press conference. So you can't ask them questions because they're not having press conferences. The only place they go in and do, they go in and sit down with Terry on a Sunday and talk. That's the only thing they go in and do. That is their safe space. They go in and sit down with Terry on a Sunday and talk. 1 by 1, 2 by 2, call them by the numbers. They go in and sit down there. But to come and face the Grenadian people, they ain't facing them. You know why? They don't respect you. So they don't believe that they have to answer to you. Who is you to ask them questions? Who is you to ask why they're traveling? Hey, I'm Mr. Minister, I have a red passport. Who is you to ask me why I'm traveling? You're out of order. You ain't supposed to ask me those kind of questions. That is the behavior, you know. So they ain't coming with no post-cabinet press briefing. The NDC before used to have post-cabinet press briefing. NNP before used to have post-cabinet press briefing. That means cabinet meets on a Monday. On a Tuesday at 9, you know that how there is, or 9 or 10, accordingly. You know that there's post-cabinet press briefing is going live. That Minister A or B is going to be there and they are going to answer questions in relation to what took place and some of the decisions made in cabinet, or a minister has traveled and they come back and they report. They say, okay, we went here. I remember the late, God bless his soul, late Honorable Elvin Nimrod. When Elvin Nimrod traveled and he come back, he come and he say, well, yes, we went to this trip. Grenada signed these agreements. We have $2 million for that project. We have $5 million for that project. We have $10 million for this project. We got 300,000 US towards this project under this ministry. So he would come back and he would report. This minister of foreign affairs has only come back and cough. The late Honorable Elvin Nimrod used to come back and report. When you had Mr. Simon Steele, who is now attached to the United Nations, Mr. Simon Steele used to come back and report. When Simon Steele go out there and climate resilience and climate change and thing, and he come back, and you hear the climate smart project for the town of St. George, and you hear about the fort, redoing the fort. Don't think redoing the fort is anything to do with the NDC. That nothing to do with them. But when you see people like Mr. Simon Steele went out there and they come back, Sayo coming back with money. He coming back and he saying, listen, we went, Grenada was at this forum, and at that forum we got the opportunity to get this and we got the opportunity to get that, and we have access to this amount of funds, but we have to write the project now to access those funds. So even if you ain't come back with the money directly, you come back and you let the people know there's 100 million US in that fund. Grenada wants to get its share, so the technocrats within whatever ministry it is, they are putting together the documents so that we can access those funds. And bet your bottom dollar, by the following budget cycle, you're going to realize if it's grant funding, that grant funding is under the budget because Grenada did their project and they sent it out, it was approved, and you're getting that money. You hear that kind of thing taking place now? You're seeing ministers coming back and saying, we get this amount of money. I see one minister that say, he get $1 million, and then they call and they say, we giving you a next million. All you hear anything about that again? Or coconut still just in the same? All you hear about that again? All you hear anything about the coconut thing and who gave $1 million and they getting a next $1 million, we giving you a second $1 million? All you forget? Don't tell me all you forget that already. But where the $1 million? Or $2 million? Where there? Where the project? I had to check the budget document because that project should be under the budget document under grant funding. But I didn't see it there. That means it's only no action. Yeah? Only talk. Because that is where they're bad. Talk, no action. Prime Minister goes, come back. He doesn't think, who is all left to meet to have a press conference and report? I the Prime Minister, I jump a plane, I go, I come back. That's my business. He's not reporting. He's not saying, well, I went, I had this meeting, and Grenada is going to gain A, B, C, D out of it. They try a thing when they come back from Cuba. That's the only place. And everybody knows who reconnected with Cuba was Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. When every Caribbean country after the Grenada situation, when every other Caribbean country for over a decade was afraid to have anything to do with Cuba, it was Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell that jumped a plane and went in Cuba and reconnected with Cuba. So when you see the other day, they have 45 years of diplomatic relations, and so that is so. But during that period of time, there's a period of time that Grenada didn't want nothing to do with Cuba. Cuba always wanted to do with Grenada, but Grenada did not want anything. All the Caribbean countries, they like Cuba. They know there were benefits there, but they're afraid. Because they say now that the Americans watching. Remember what the Americans do in Grenada? They went in there, you know. Boy, me ain't taking chance. I ain't want Bush and them watch me a kind of way. I ain't want Clinton and them watch me a kind of way. Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell, being the man who have the belly and the guts, went to Cuba and meet with then Fidel Castro. Ruiz, yeah. The late Fidel Castro. Until one of the first things that Fidel Castro tell him when he come, he say, you are a brave man. Because everybody else afraid. After him is when Owen Atta went. That is when I think it's PJ Patterson and all of them, everybody start to rush to Cuba. And all of the Caribbean countries benefit. Down to the Canadian Prime Minister at that time. He as well went in Cuba after Grenada reopened the door. Everybody afraid to go. Yes, sir. It's stop. Okay, I'll fix it for you just now, okay? Right, nice, yes. Okay, yes, I'll fix it for you. Yeah, folks. So when they go in Cuba, understand who opened the door. Because a lot of countries would have still be afraid, including Grenada, would still have been afraid to engage with Cuba. It was Dr. Mitchell, not Deacon Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell that opened the door, and at least Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell had enough sense that if he was going to Cuba, he would have do similar to what you see Dr. Ralph Gonsalves do and bring something tangible for the Cuban people instead of bringing a picture and say, look at picture of me and look at picture of Maurice. He'd have bring a picture of himself and food. And he wouldn't bring no picture. Come and think Dr. Mitchell is not the vain kind of person who would go in Cuba and bring a picture. They not do that. Go and you're giving a gift of a picture. People sending tons of food. You bring a picture of yourself and a picture of Maurice Bishop. And they bring a picture of Maurice Bishop to the Maurice Bishop School. That already have pictures of Maurice Bishop. And you don't understand Maurice Bishop because you go and had a Photoshop picture of his head Photoshop onto a body with a tie. That wasn't Maurice. Maurice didn't used to wear tie. I still challenge people to find a picture of Maurice Bishop in a tie for me. That is not Photoshopped. Find a picture of Maurice. In fact, what? Take that as a weekend thing. Anybody, find a picture of Maurice Bishop wearing a tie for me and send it to me. Because they bring a picture of him wearing a tie and not a Photoshopped one. And I could tell when it's Photoshopped. Find a picture of him with a tie for me. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points this week. As I said, no Friday night forum next week. Yeah, we staying off Friday night next week. We're going to do the Monday to Thursday. And it's going to be like that for about the next month. And then we will restart the Friday night forums. But for about the next month, we will not be doing the Friday night forum while I settle on certain things, right? So, folks, that's all the time we have for Talking Points tonight. It has been wonderful being here. In everything you say and do it safe and secure. Want to be speaking to and with you and definitely not about you. Love each and every one of you. And, folks, those of you that can, remember the donations. Yeah, fine. I didn't even see. I look at $5. What is that? No, not even my $5. Nah, man. All you have to, yeah. We had to fix up the thing, man. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Na, 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 na. Whoa. Dr. Rod, turn it up for Grenada. Yeah. My land that you celebrate 50. Some call you a little baby. Oh, that say you Johnny come lately. Oh, yo. But they don't know about your history. All the things you have been through was too much for you. Yet you had resilience to stand them. Revolution, intervention, and coup. Yet you produce some beautiful children. This is the land that has famous people like Junior Murray. This is the land under St. Peters and Champion Kirani. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate. 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate. Oh, yeah. 50, it will be great. This is the land. We produce people like the mighty sparrow. This is the land. Randy Isaac, Becky, we did a jambo. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate. 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate. 50, it will be great. We don't talk much about your troubles. No, no. You have been through many struggles. That's true. Yet you rose up from the rubbles. Yeah, yeah. Proving resilience as a people. Storms and hurricane. Yet you came back again. Even COVID-19 couldn't stop you. So much destructive human try to destroy this island. Yet we're standing strong as a nation. This is the land. Let's remember the godfather of this country. This is the land. The right honorable Eric Matthew Gary. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate. 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate. Oh, yeah. 50, it will be great. This is the land. Yeah, Mary Shokit, Mitchell, and Deacon. This is the land. Some strong leaders that come from this island. Land of my birth. Let's celebrate. 50, we cannot let off my birth. Let's celebrate. 50. Bishop Howard Blaze and Judge Prison, land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, we cannot land of my birth. Let's celebrate 50, it will be great. This is the land, we have killer boys without free and squeezy. This is the land, Dash Terra Thunder and Little Natty, land of my birth. Mr. Leg, King Scholar, Teacher Eddie, land of my birth. Valinet and Lady Cynthia, land of my birth. Lava Man, Lunis Pack and Electrify, land of my birth. Land of my birth. I just cannot mention everybody. Land of my birth. All Grenadians just sing this song with me. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth. Land of my birth.